First, President Medvedev has hiked fines for bribery in some cases by 100 times. He says he hopes the fear of financial punishment will put people off giving and taking bribes.
It comes as a new report claims to reveal the true cost of corruption to law-abiding Russians and expats. Primetime's Katerina Azarova has more details and can join us now. Katya, what kind of sums are we actually talking about?
Well, the money mentioned by the Russian president is actually very significant. According to the new law signed by Dmitry Medvedev, the minimum fine for a bribe will be just a little under $1,000 and the maximum fine is over $500 million Russian rubles, a very significant amount of money that the president said would perhaps input more fear into people. Those that aren't afraid of prison time may very well be very sensitive about their financial conditions and, of course, would not be willing to part with sums of that magnitude. Let's have a listen to what the president had to say.
The fines provide a real motivation for those considering corruption to avoid it. People will realize that they'll suffer financially, and some, it turns out, think this is worse than going to prison.
Now, this, of course, is in line with the Russian president's attempts to curb corruption in Russia. But as recent studies show, the problem may go far beyond the simple giving and accepting of bribes. According to a recent study done by the European Institute that's located in St. Petersburg, the necessity of corruption is actually implemented in the various laws that exist and therefore, of course, stand in the way of businesses, both big and small, to construct anything, to open up a retail chain, to build a hotel. You have to go through various institutions to receive various permits. And because of the way the legal system has been constructed, there are several companies that do seem to be presenting themselves as private institutions, but are instead corrupted institutions that basically surcharge and therefore increase the cost of construction, opening up a business to beyond belief. In Russia, that cost is said to be over 60%, with the retailers, of course, having no choice but to succumb and to actually go through all those private institutions to pay all that money, because otherwise they have absolutely no chance of opening up a business. And of course, all of that is going to take a lot more than a simple fine or the threat of prison time to eradicate.
Katerina, and what about those who've never paid a bribe? Are those people going to be affected?
Well, those people are still affected, of course, by the very nature of Russia's corruption system. It has, in fact, become a system. And of course, those institutions, say anybody who wants to open even a small business like a cafe or a small store, they have to go through all these various institutions to basically get a permit and finish their construction, their business. Permit for construction, a permit for water supplies, for anything, parking, you name it. Basically, you have to go through these institutions. If you want to open up a business, that is simply what you have to do. But as some small business owners in Moscow say, it's not the worst thing that could happen.
One of the reasons why Russia is one of the most expensive places in the world, Moscow is one of the most expensive cities in the world for sure, is because most people are putting in to their prices 30–40% kickbacks, payments, security. You know, we all want to get on in life. And when one guy can stop your business by not giving you a license or not renewing a certificate, and he asks you for whatever it might be, cash, a holiday, a car, whatever it might be, why wouldn't you give it to him? You know, you put it down as a business expense.
Now, Moscow is, of course, one of the most expensive cities in the world, and with such a system basically draining all of the resources out of all the people who may want to raise the Russian capital by opening up their business, all these corrupted systems certainly take away any of their willingness to open a business and certainly a lot of their profits. But many do say that the recent steps to eradicate corruption and to battle, of course, taken by the Russian president are a positive sign that maybe sometime this will all be a thing of the past.
What we're witnessing right now with enforcement abroad is the creation of a really comprehensive anti-corruption legal system across the globe, pioneered and championed by the United States and UK bribery. And we have a lot of companies, global international companies, that looking at the way they do business. For now, unfortunately, the way the situation is, it's tougher luck for small and medium businesses. At this point, the business, global big business, is really in a position to set example for, the rest of peers within the industries and for the corrupt bureaucrats, whatever they do business.
Okay, we've been hearing from Katerina Azarova, who's been bringing us the government's latest efforts to combat